Hey, what's up? Hello, welcome to our stream. Been a while. What's up? Been a long time. First up, no, this is not the one. First up, what's up, everyone? It's been a while. Good to see you all here. Today, I don't really have anything planned. It just feels like every single day that I get closer, every single day that we get closer to the cohort, all the cool stuff, I'm just like, I want to save this for the cohort. You guys get what I mean? You get what I'm talking about? Like all the cool stuff, all the examples, all the new stuff that's happening, all the stuff that we are working on, right? Our own design stuff. I'm just like, let's just save it for the cohort. So that's why I've just not been streaming for the last 2 weeks. Um, Also, a lot of parallel projects going on regarding the cohort. So yeah, Darshri, bro, I've answered this before. I think you're just trolling me, but there's no difference. Feeling समझो bro. गिच पिच किसी को पसंद नहीं है, right? We want simple stuff. Minimalism, minimalistic. They're just two. It's just English. It's two different words. They're the same words. It's not even two different words. Weird way to troll, bro. I don't get it, Dashdeep. You come here 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and this is the best troll you're coming up with, bro. I don't get it. What's up, Tazim? Good evening. What's up, Ananya? Sahil, Akshay, Akshit. What's up, gang? Hello to Deepak and Sid. What's up? Namaste, Rakshit. Hello. Let's get started, guys. Show all the cool stuff here. ठीक है, I could show a little bit, but that's the thing, bro. It's just so good. I just don't want to. I'm like, this would be such a good case study, design case study that I can use to show design process and all that stuff. Let me show you guys. I'm not going to show you, of course, final stuff, but I can maybe show you a little bit. Let's hook this up, and let's get on my screen time. I don't know what. I've just not streamed in so long. Nothing is set up anymore. I swear. I don't know how this happens. Okay, let's go. Let's jump into it. Number one, I've started using Safari, bro, these days. I'm just not using Chrome. I don't know. My machine, I just had to do a quick reset, everything. Something weird happened during my update. And then now I'm stuck on, what the hell? Now I'm stuck on Big Sur or something. Anyways, folks, you all know what's happening. One big thing that is happening is this. June 5th is when we're going to be seeing this. So super excited about that. Outside of this, Arc browser. Yeah, Pranav, you're right. Why am I not using Arc? I downloaded it also, but I downloaded it on my MacBook. Just not used it. But yeah, I'm using Safari for now because it's really, I cannot use Chrome, man. Yes, sir, right now. Bhuvanyu, we're doing this right now. Outside of that, some of the public stuff that we've been working on, of course, you all have seen this. Instagram. Let's see this. The urge to put one dirt mark on those walls. Yeah, bro. We've been doing this, bro. It just when you start running a business, right? You realize that everything costs effort and time, right? Something like this, which we're like, oh, like what's the deal? It's just reels. Oh my god, you wouldn't believe the amount of work that goes into making reels, bro. Um, but we've been doing this. I think one thing that I love so much is I know a lot of people um, come across new careers on Instagram these days, right? With things like Broke Brothers and the Church Street, what do you do for a living, bro? Type videos. So we've been kind of doing this from the perspective of how do we share more bite-sized stuff. Also, we want to build hype for the series. Like we're going to be releasing all of these as full episodes on YouTube, but and probably on the second channel, not Abnux 2, another second channel. So excited about that. We've pretty much been doing these daily, uploading these daily. So check that out. Outside of that, let's take a minute to talk about what happens now that the Apple headset is coming out, right? And I'm going to give you some ideas as well to think about this. Okay, what's up, everyone? Good to see you all in the chat. So, one thing that I definitely see happening, okay, and I'll look at your questions, all of your questions in a bit, but with the design headset, of course, we know this. The main big reason is because it's a hardware device. Hardware devices, there's not a new hardware device that's huge that takes that. Let's just say it's not so often that we see a new hardware device, and that too from Apple after years, bro. We've been talking about this just general idea that Apple's headset, when they do it, they will do it. They will do a badhiya job at it, right? The fact that these guys now, of course, there is one perspective that says that yeah, Apple, they removed the headphone jack and then they released this, and then suddenly wireless took off, right? But it all started with them removing the jack. However, the reason I'm optimistic is whenever Apple does these, um, whenever Apple gets into something, you know that they are late, but they are typically industry defining events, right? So definitely excited for that. Also, you know that the design of whatever this platform is, XR OS, is going to be great. But outside of that, it's just been a while, man. It's been a while since we've had a new device to design for. Like wearables, things like watches, we've had them for a while, but it's just nobody likes designing apps for watches. Like when I first came out, I was like, dude, I can't wait to design a watch app. But then it's just not fun. Versus a headset, now that's something I'm looking forward to. I think what we will do is let's try to figure out some watch party shit going for June 5th. We'll watch it together in the Discord or something like that. We'll do that for sure. But outside of that, let's take some questions. Rakshit, design question. How do you see BX, brand experience design, evolving in the next 5 years? And what kind of roles popping up can we see from the cohort? Vibe curator as a job title. I would say the thing with brand design is there are right now specialist roles. So, for example, you might have something like a visual designer who's doing a lot of the brand design stuff. You might have graphic designers who are doing a lot of the brand stuff. Or you have brand designers, maybe it's a studio that does the branding work, but then the marketing team translates that into the things that, the kinds of output that is needed. But then it's the marketing or the marketing design team that does that. So is there a broader shift towards a more generalist brand experience role? And I think it's the only hard part about something like that happening is it's so hard to hire for, right? Which is if I am hiring somebody who is, let's say in this case, right? Let's take this real example, vibe curator. Fuck yeah, I want to hire a vibe curator, right? Really think about this. Would I full-time hire a vibe curator? Definitely. But here's my doubt, okay? Number one, what exactly are they going to be doing? Which is their job, right? Purely from where I stand today, I can think about a few different places where I think it would be useful for me to hire somebody full time for this role. Number one, community, right? Community management. Like, let me just be very specific. I need to hire somebody to throw parties in Bangalore full time, parties and meetups full time in Bangalore, right? Is that a vibe curator? Yes. Does a BX designer have specific advantages? Kind of. But then, if that's the job, your job is to be a community manager and throw events and parties. That's my tricky part, right? You guys get what I'm saying? Outside of that, I would also love to hire, for example, like a relationship manager or something, like somebody who's a community but for internal, so internal alumni and mentor community, right? And now this one is somebody, it's not really vibe curation, it's more of relationships, building that relationship. And vibe is kind of, I feel, the byproduct of having really good relationships within a subgroup, right? The emergent property out of that is then the vibes. So, very interesting. Would it pop up as a job title? I'm not so sure about that. I think job titles might be specific to Medium. But yeah, that's what I feel. Absolutely, Karthik. You can ask your cohort related questions here for sure. Now, some of you might also be wondering, why am I not promoting the cohort? Like, check this out. Of course, you guys have seen that already. The reason I'm not promoting the cohort is we're almost full already. The cohort is almost full. It's just the last couple of, technically applications are open for another, let's see, another week, like till next weekend basically is when it's open. But we're almost full. So I'm not even marketing it too much at this point. We're pretty much ready to get started. We are now just finalizing the last couple of them. You know, things like scholarship, most scholarships have already been given out, like the partial scholarships. We don't have any full scholarships. We had a few of them. I think most have been given out already. We're actually ready to start. All you guys here, oh my God, like all the alumni here, alumni as well as the new people who are joining. I have so much new shit to share. And I know I shouldn't be talking about this right now. But anyways, it's not full, but it's nearly full. Like, we're not sending any more acceptance till the current ones confirm. If everybody who's received an acceptance email confirms, then yes, we're full. But of course, some people will drop out at the last minute. So we have a little bit left. But yeah, it's pretty much full. Jay says this thing will be paying by 8 June. It's okay, bro. Just drop an email and you're good. If you've dropped an email, we have it on record and it's all good. Final date for payments is, I think, June 10th. That's final. But then really, if you've received an acceptance email, check that out. Another note that I'll quickly add here is folks who have been accepted. You might have received a message on WhatsApp from AirTribe that says you've been accepted, but there's no link there. There's no link to our Notion one-pager, which has a lot more details. So definitely, if you've been accepted, and if you've only seen the WhatsApp message, go check your emails. There's a big Notion document that I've shared, which answers all your questions. If you've asked something specific, most likely I've added the answer over there. Check that out. Definitely check it out. A lot of you here might have received acceptance emails but might not have checked out that Notion. It contains a lot of information that will be useful for you at that stage. We need to do a Kanpur meetup. You guys need to do a Kanpur meetup, guys. Karthik and Tazim. Absolutely. Karthik says, I find designing screens boring. How different is C7 cohort? Great question, Karthik, because I'll be honest, I find designing screens boring too. Especially now that I am so deeply involved in video, running a business, cohort experience. Don't get me wrong, I love making wireframes, I love designing, I love interactions, visuals, typography. I love getting into the details. But then if that's all I had to do, I wouldn't enjoy it. But anyways, your question was how different is cohort? See, the point is a cohort based course is meant to be a transformational course. And what do I mean by that? I'm not trying to just come up with random words. I'm saying you are here right now and the cohort helps you go here, right? We've clearly designed it for this. And so what that means is your here might be I'm confused, trying to figure out, maybe I'm in my final year of college, maybe I want to make a career transition, but in general, there's something that's keeping me stuck, something that I'm not so sure how to overcome. And so the cohort has been designed as a way where there's literally a start date. All folks who want to make some sort of transition into design start on a particular day. We go on for the duration of 3 months. And at the end of 3 months, now you're officially a part of the alumni. And that's when you're then plugged into our overall alumni network. So, yes, all the assignments are app design based. And the main reason for that is most people, this transition that they're trying to make is I want to work as a UI UX designer or a product designer at a startup or a company, or I want to start freelancing with this, or I want to use these projects in my portfolio to apply for design masters abroad. So if one of these sounds like it might be an interesting fit, maybe the cohort is right for you. If there is no specific transition as such, if you just want to learn design, the cohort can be okay for you, but let me just say it's very challenging. It's not a walk in the park. Like it is many hours per week that you actually have to work, attend sessions, be a little bit social, talk to mentors, get their serious feedback, get to know new people, like literally in the breakout rooms. Every single week, we're going to have about 2 or 3 live sessions, 2 core sessions. The third one is a little bit more open-ended, but 2 core sessions, and every single cohort, you're going to be talking, right? It's no Netflix mode. There's no sitting and watching sessions. If you are attending the sessions live, you are going to be talking, right? We're going to be creating breakout rooms where you and 5, 6 other people have a problem statement, have something, and you're working on it during that session. And then outside of this, of course, there's the whole session, the slides we might have, exercises. It's still a part of a curriculum where month 1, month 2, month 3, there are some distinct themes. So that's what I would say, bro. Check it out. Think about it. There's always YouTube if you're still kind of just exploring. But yeah. What's new in C7? Yes, there is an AI module. There's literally a brand new AI module that we've added. I was going to announce it on Twitter, drop the thread on that, but just taking a little bit longer. Yes, we do have an AI module. We are going to have a bunch of guest sessions. Let me just say, from some people in AI that you might know. I don't want to break it to you. I don't want to break the surprise, but some people in AI that you've probably heard of are going to be taking guest sessions. I also don't want to reveal it right now because I don't need to. I think I'll keep it as a surprise. But yeah, I think you can guess. You can probably guess. But yes, we do have some AI modules. We are going to be doing that. We're probably at this, another couple of changes just to talk about it. We're also going to have a few changes to, okay, you know what? For the folks who are enrolled, I'll let you know once you're in. But at a very broad level, AI module is our one big change. And our second big change is we're going to have a lot more final projects, a lot more capstone projects. And in general, of course, we fine-tuned. It's the 7th cohort. So the core of it, the core of it, still stays pretty much the same as it has. It's just that now that we've gone through these iterations, we have a very tight version of it. Yes, bro, Pradyuman. C6. Here's the thing though, Pradyuman. Pradyuman, as well as all the other alumni who are watching this, you guys are going to be invited for sessions as part of C7. We don't want to invite you for sessions you've already attended, right? But all the new stuff, like some of these AI things and some of the more casual work hackathon type sessions, we're going to be inviting you guys. This is something that we've done a little bit of in the past, but not fully, right? Past couple of cohorts, we do invite some people back, but it's always been a kind of a management challenge, but we are going to be doing this, by the way. So Pradyuman, you are in. You are in for C7. You're going to be attending a bunch of sessions. All right. Let's see. Let's go deeper. Some more questions. I see the names here. Thank you guys for sharing that. Some of you are right, by the way. Let's go deeper. So Shilpa, hey Shilpa, what's up? Could you suggest how to restart a career in UX after a big gap at the age of 37? I have masters in design, currently working on my portfolio. Shilpa, I think the my two suggestions here, the way I would want you to think about this is at this point, let's say you do have a master's, right? You're 37. You probably have some level of experience as well in design. The first question you need to ask yourself is, will I now be joining in a hands-on role, like an individual contributor role, or am I going to be joining in a managerial role where I'm kind of maybe a design manager of some sort, design lead? You still maybe have to do a little bit hands-on. So that's one question, right? Which of these roles is it? If you do have a bunch of experience, there is a chance you could apply for some slightly more leadership roles, right? But then again, I don't know too much about you, so I'm just keeping the answer a little generic. The first question to ask, hands-on or this thing. The other question is what type of companies? So what type of companies is really dependent on what kind of experiences you have already. So let's take an example. If a lot of your experience so far is B2B, it's in a B2B context at a huge company, like, I saw IBM in the chat for something, or it's a company which is like, let's just say it's non-startup. It's some kind of MNC. Now, or is it a startup? Like the type of company, B2B versus B2C, the culture as well. Like a startup typically has a very different culture, even within the design team, compared to, let's say, an MNC. Let's say you're working at Accenture or you're working at one of those kinds of big firms. So I'd say those are your questions. In terms of your portfolio, it is also dependent on which type of companies you're applying to, because the projects you talk about in your portfolio should kind of match the company that you're applying for. But anyways, if this is getting too complicated, feel free to also drop me a DM. I am open to just sharing a quick voice note on Instagram or something like that. If there are specific details that you think I could help, right, drop me a DM on Instagram. I'll give that a shot. I'll wrap up the question. Is it possible? Definitely possible to do so. Is the master's going to be advantageous? Yes, it is, most likely. Currently working on a portfolio. That's great. Keep working on that. And definitely try to tailor your portfolio to the type of companies you want to be applying for, right? It is okay to make a list of 10, 20, 30 companies that you think fit the type of role you want to apply for, right? All right, let's keep going. Now we're in the flow, bro. Now we're in the Q&A flow. Damn, Abhinax made my day. See you in C7, Rajiv, Pradyuman, Deepak, Vijay. Yes, Tazim, you too, because you're alumni. Absolutely. We're going to be inviting you guys for sessions, pretty much. Not every single session, but a good chunk. We have a good chunk. Yes, Vijay. See you there. Let's answer some more questions, okay? I'm going through right now. Doing an internship at 20K, second year. How can I get my next big at this thing? Congrats, Akshat. Congrats on that. 20K for internship. Pretty nice. Good for you. How can you get your next big internship? The very interesting thing that you've caught on to, Akshat, is that yes, it is a leverage process, right? Which is, it is hard for somebody to directly for their first internship get something like, the example you took, Swiggy, a big startup. But having worked at some startup, you can leverage your way at slightly bigger, and So the question you have is, how do I do it at a big startup like Swiggy? Keep in mind, right? Let's approach this from a design lens. Who's the person on the other side making this decision, and what's it like for them, right? Put ourselves in the recruiter's shoes. Unfortunately, all these bigger startups, Swiggy, Cred, Razorpay, you know the type, Make My Trip, um, Byju's, Topper, Unacademy. The main note here is that these are competitive. Everybody wants to work at one of these companies. Why? Because it seems like the safe option, number one. They already have a good team, so you know you can't go fuck up, right? In the sense that if you get in, the team gets you on board, integrates you into the process, and you know you'll do well, right? Most people want to apply for these companies, but here's the thing: the only way you can get in is if your work stands out and is sufficiently differentiated, right? And there's a reason why I'm saying that's the only way, because in the past, you could have gotten, like, you would still need to stand out, but you might have gotten lucky sometimes, right? With a good enough portfolio. The point is, in general, in the market, we know that hiring for interns is down right now. So number one, a lot of companies are not hiring interns, and that's just right now, although that is changing. The big companies are, most of them, I've just noticed, still kind of not. A lot of them are, though. You got to keep your eyes open. Think about this as well, bro. Swiggy, Cred, bro, everybody knows Swiggy and Cred. Sabko pata hai, right? Swiggy and Cred is the most popular. Everybody uses Swiggy. Everybody's fucking seen the Cred ads. That's a lot of competition. Do you think a lot of people know what Dukaan is? No. But in terms of the opportunity, it's just as big, right? What I'm just trying to say is, when you look at startups, look at it from the perspective of early stage, seed, series B, C, D, E, F, G. A lot of times we want to work at that series F startup because it's so big. Everybody knows it. Your parents, you tell them I work at Swiggy, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I know what Swiggy is. But the point is, everybody's applying there, right? No chance of getting in unless you stand out somehow. How do you stand out? That's an honest conversation you need to have with yourself. Take your portfolio right now and say, and just do an honest assessment of it, right? But in general, I will tell you this, bro, what's this maramari, bro? Right? We're not trying to compete for the top 10 ranks to go to IIT Bombay or something, right? The point is, you don't have to do it at Swiggy. You could get that same experience just working for a startup that has the culture of Swiggy. Do you think the best people at Swiggy, Razorpay are not starting their own startups right now with AI coming in? They are. And those startups pretty much do carry the same culture, right? A lot of the folks who are early at these startups have made a lot of money. They are also angel investing in new startups, right? So your best bet would actually be to join a new startup that within 3 years, 5 years is going to be Swiggy, right? That's the real alpha. Yeah. Yo, excited and intimidated for C7. No need to be intimidated, bro. We've got you, bro. We've got you. It's all sorted. Why is no one applying for startups in SF? Karthik, I can tell you this. A lot of people are. But the biggest problem is remote companies, it's possible. But then if a company is SF, a lot of them do want to hire in SF, right? So remote is definitely possible. But the bigger reason is just the visa thing, bro. If the visa thing was sorted, we would all be talking about SF companies. And if the visa thing was not so much of a random lottery, we would all be talking about SF, right? It would be easy global mobility. We would just move around. But unfortunately, that's not the case right now, especially for US startups, right? Visa is a huge, huge problem. And so that's one of the main reasons. Outside of that, applying to startups in SF, you cannot do it if you're early stage, right? When I say you need to be differentiated to apply at Swiggy, right? The previous question, I mean, you need an even crazier level of differentiation to apply in SF, right? Or in fact, that same level. Anyway, cannot apply abroad, right? Mostly because of the visa issue, but outside of that, the skill issue. Outside of SF, though, global startups, definitely there's a lot. It's just that most of those names, you have to really find it. These are startups you've not heard of. But there's a ton of startups out there who are paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per month for product designers with 2, 3 years of experience. And that's on the low end. If you are doing something like an agency, you're doing Webflow work, right? You could charge a couple $1,000s for a website, right? So globes, obviously there's a ton of them. It's just they're not so common. What's up, Josh? Good to hear that. Freelance projects, building portfolio, refining skills. Amazing. Keep going. In fact, I'll give you a suggestion right here since you dropped in and said thanks. Work on a personal website. Josh, work on your personal website. All the stuff you've done, your content, put a really amazing container to it, right? That, let it be your home on the internet where everybody can discover you. People who are your peers can be like, Mast banda hai Josh, what is he working on? These are the projects they've done. People who want to hire you, they can come here and be like, there's a straight button on how this person works. Here's more about them, and here's how I can hire them. That's a suggestion I would give to most people here. Alumni, all my alumni here in the chat, including Shubhank, work on your personal websites, guys. Really work on your personal websites. What does Shubhank say though? What's up, Shubhank? I tapped out of the race. Whatever I learned has helped me build culture and help my company grow. Absolutely. Love to hear that. What do you mean by capstone? Capstones are final projects. They are typically real projects, which is given by a real company, by somebody at that company who will give you feedback on it. So it's kind of the equivalent of, let's say you joined this company as an intern. What would you work on a 1 month internship? Probably a small project that you can gather context on really quickly. That's what capstones are like. So we bring a bunch of those, you pick which one you want to do, that becomes your case study, right? But in general, it's a final project. That's how you can think about it. The reason it's called capstone is because all the skills that you've learned through the cohort, they all stack together. A capstone project, a final project, is your chance to apply everything you've learned, put it all towards one particular project. And if you do well, this kind of becomes your flagship case study in your portfolio, right? The most in-depth one, the one you might want to use in an interview for walkthroughs. Open, up to you. And a lot of these, of course, do become real internships. You can definitely check out some of our reels. We've started sharing some of these stories. Akshat says, my portfolio is currently on Medium. Should I shift it to Notion or some personal websites? Guys, I'm going to break this to you. Notion is dead. Notion for portfolios, dead. I would not suggest using Notion. I know it's worked in the past, not anymore. All alumni here, especially. I'm going to have this. I'm going to, of course, tell you this during the cohort, but in your cohort, when you were in C3, C2, C4, Notion was a good strategy. It's not anymore. Everybody uses Notion. And Notion does also have a lot of performance issues, right? So just really think about the user experience. If your portfolio is on Notion, that link, you're sharing it with someone, you want it to immediately open and show your work, right? Notion has a lot of performance issues, bro. Like I open the link, it asks me to sign up. Some people forget to make it public, like they share it but not share to web type public. They don't check that box. Sometimes I open it in Instagram, it opens in Instagram browser, failed to load. I open it in Safari on my phone. It asks me to log in. I log in. It shows me my regular Notion instead of showing me the page that I clicked on. I go back, I click the link, it opens the Notion app, loads in the Notion app, but instead of directly showing me the page within the Notion app, it opens an in-app browser, and finally I see your portfolio, your Notion folio. That's really fucked up, guys. That's really fucked up. Don't use Notion. It's over. No more Notion. In fact, we are also going to be in this cohort, upcoming one, C7. We are likely to have an assignment which is around personal website, right? A new assignment, a brand new assignment. But I'll share that once we get there. Bento is slick. Yeah, for sure. I would say fuck Notion. You might as well use Bento, right? But in general, the question here was what, right? It was, should I shift to personal website? The point is, a lot of you guys will have your case studies on Medium, right? Because you share it on Medium, it gets claps and all of that stuff. So, really, what you're doing when you're designing a personal website is you're designing the interface for all your work that is distributed on different platforms, right? So, if I were to make a website, I know, पता तो है मुझे कि if somebody comes here, यूट्यूब पे जाके देख सकते हैं, वो मीडियम पे जाके देख सकते हैं, मेरा ट्विटर देख सकते हैं, लिंक्डइन देख सकते हैं, स्क्रॉल करके सी ऑल सब देख सकते हैं. बट that takes time, right? And the longer you've been designing, you have your shit on all these platforms everywhere, right? So you want to think about your personal website as the interface to your work. It should aggregate everything, but outside of that, it should create a path, right? Like for example, I can't just link my YouTube, and because there's 140 videos on my YouTube, literally 140, 150 videos. What are they going to watch? They know there is no chance somebody is going to watch every single video, right? Especially if I was using it somehow to apply for jobs. It doesn't make sense, but you get what I mean. So your portfolio not only is the interface that aggregates these, but it's also the one that says, read this. This is my flagship case study. It's the thing that tries to actually drive a conversion, which is if you've liked what you see so far, what are you waiting for? Reach out, book a discovery call. I am available for freelance projects in the month of June, right? Or I am available for freelance projects in the month of July, right? Be up to date, right? These are the kinds of things you want to think about when you're thinking about your personal website. But guys, don't do Notion. Don't do Notion. Yeah. Awesome to hear that, bro. Yeah, in fact, the AV cohort, I know you guys are using Notion, and that was my recommendation. In fact, to the team, where I was like, you guys should probably do Notion folios because hey, I've hired from the AV cohort, right? I've hired video editors from your cohort, and unfortunately, it's not it anymore. It was, but not anymore. I do not suggest Notion anymore. Another good thing, another really good positive news around that is it's getting way easier to actually make a personal website. The reason I'm now actually very confidently telling you that you all need a personal website is because I know that if you know Figma, there is now a Figma to Framer plugin that does most of the work for you. There is also now a really good Figma to Webflow plugin that does most of the work for you. So let me be very clear. I do not think all of you here should learn to code just so you can make a website. If you want to do that, go ahead, but that's not the efficient path at all. You can, within a weekend, go from Figma design to actual Framer website or Webflow website, and that's what I would recommend. Don't get stuck in the trap, bro, of a personal website. Yeah. Have you tried Galileo and UiZerd? Aniket says. And is it true that they're going to take over? The point is, I'll tell you what, Aniket. Galileo is not even out, right? Galileo. See, I don't want to say this, okay? But shady, bro. Galileo is shady as fuck in the sense that, you know, the founder of Galileo, I think I came across his podcast or something. Nice guy. But, you know, I don't really trust any product right now during the AI wave that's doing signups, come up soon. Because even the best AI design tools, right? The ones who've gotten the most, like things like Galileo or even, there's the other one, Diagram, I think, diagram.com. They've not released anything significant, right? Galileo, it's still in beta. UiZerd, yeah, I did try it. But again, the note that I'll give here, right? Is have you ever heard of anybody use UiZerd? Ever? UIZerd has been around for 4 to 5 years, and I'm not knocking on you guys, UIZerd team, if you're watching this, but Figma has won. And so even if whatever features you add in UIZerd, you have to really convince me to stop using Figma. Or you have to say use both, right? Instead of spending all your time in Figma, use a second tool. Most teams are not going to do that. Most teams don't even use Framer, for example, right? Which is way more popular. So most of these AI tools, unless Figma itself integrates AI features, I would not trust any of these AI tools. Diagram has released some pretty sick products. Disagree, Akshay. Deeply disagree. And I know this is an unpopular opinion, but a lorem ipsum generator is not a great AI tool, right? They have a great website. Commend them on that, but they've dropped the ball. Not good, bro. They've been around since last year, not even in the current wave, and they've not released anything great, right? The stuff that I'm seeing here, it's not great. Again, I have a very high bar of what I consider good, not good. Diagram is not good. Galileo is not good. What, again, coming back to the question though, just to wrap up, it is a gimmick for the most part. I would be more excited about content aware fill in Photoshop, right? You guys saw that. You can just content aware fill a huge image. Stuff like that. Now that Adobe literally owns Figma, very likely that we see a lot of native Figma AI applications, or something we've started doing internally as well is we are using a few AI plugins in Figma, right? Simple things like background removal, already been using it, but things like AI image upscaling, there's a few things around that. Those I'm excited about, but Figma is not getting replaced. That's my very strong intuitive guess based on a decade plus in the industry. No, Figma is not getting replaced. Anything that needs adoption either needs to be so good that people use it along with Figma, or it needs to be inside Figma as a plugin or something. Outside of that, bro, you think Figma wants to do my job? Aniket, the biggest mistake you're making here is you're thinking a tool can do a job. When I hire a person, I don't hire... See, I'm not hiring Figma to मेरी website बना दो. I'm hiring a person जो मेरे से बात करे, पूछे what do you want in your website, goes through the back and forth iteration process that takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. After that, we have something that both of us agree works for my audience and my business goals. Figma is a tool. Very big misconception, right? Please note that. What's up, Rinkesh? Just chilling. Stream after a long time. Amit, what's up, bro? 1 year as a solo product designer. Awesome. Congrats on that milestone. I get limited on no feedback on my design, however. So, Amit, you have a few options, okay? You have a few options. For anybody who's in a similar position, understand that you do not necessarily... How do I say this? It's okay if there are no other designers in your company. It's okay, right? That's where I want to start. I know ideally we would want to work in a place that has a design team already, and that's great. Go for that if you get the chance. But it's not a bad thing to work in a company without a design team. And what's good about it? It can be good because number one, you have a lot more to work on, right? A lot more stuff is shit. So you get to really change a lot of stuff. But the note here I want to make is figure out who you're going to be reporting to and make sure they are really good. So as an example, I know designers who are on the graphic design team who might report to the head of marketing. Now, if the head of marketing sees you guys as a cost, like bro, like chinchi karte rehte hain, like you know, he doesn't see you. This head of marketing does not see you as a creative, valuable contributor to the overall brand. right? There might be people who purely see it from a performance marketing. Like मेरा graphic designer ads बनाता है, right? Banners बनाने हैं, 30 banner बनाओ, 30% off, 50% off, 40% off, right? That's the wrong position to be in. Now I'm only taking that graphic design example, but in your case, you said product designer at a solo startup, right? So at an early stage startup, my guess is you're probably reporting to the founders directly or something like a head of product or head of engineering. In general, for everybody else, I would suggest make sure that person who you're reporting to, it's okay if they're not a designer, but they need to be good at what they do. They cannot be more clueless than you. Never work for a manager who's more clueless than you. Obvious baat hai, but I need to say that. But outside of that, Amit, I would say a good suggestion here would be build your network outside of your company, right? Because very likely that your second job, if you have a network, very likely your second job will come through referrals or network, right? Or it'll be someone in your company who joins a new company, they want to hire a designer, and that's a internal, that's a referral, they kind of recruit you. Build your network of designers outside of your company. Get to know designers who are working, let's say you're in Bangalore, know a couple designers in Bangalore, right? It's super easy to go from I know 0 designers to I know 10 designers within a month in Bangalore, right? Maybe faster if you're a socializing extrovert. But that's my biggest suggestion. If you do not have designers in your company, you still do want designers who you can talk shop with, who you can talk about design related stuff. Sometimes product managers, head of product, engineering might fill that gap, but not exactly. Look outside. Look outside. And I would suggest you don't necessarily need to switch companies, right? If everything is going well, stay on. There's a lot you can learn from founders and head of products, and in some cases, heads of engineering themselves, even if they're not designers, because they still understand products. But outside of that, definitely think about what your second move is. And even if you're not ready to switch, build the network. Because eventually when you're ready to switch, you already want to have a network where you know what's going on in the industry. The question here, companies that don't have designers, design literacy is low. It does reflect when things come down business side. The main note here, Mihir, do they see you as a cost or do they see you as value? If they see you as cost, they're going to treat you like shit because they're like, karo, matlab, interest to hai nahi, paise, karo, right? They're more caring about business. They see you as a cost. They see you as a negative. Obviously, they're not going to treat you well, right? That's the companies you want to avoid. You want to be at a company that sees you as value and not just purely as a cost. Understand that. There's a lot of questions here, guys. Let's see. Let's pick something. How do I start creating content? Kumar Siddharth. Content. I would say the main content you should be working on right now is the contents of your portfolio, right? So what do I mean by that? Every single thing that you worked on so far, is there a link on the internet where a person who does not know you can just click that link and immediately see your work? That's what you need to optimize for right now. All the work that you have, even the stuff that you're not too proud of, find the parts that you are proud of and have them publicly visible, right? Put it all together. I would say, since you mentioned this, right? Like your goal is to 6 months from now find a full-time job. If that's your goal, I don't think the kind of content you should be working on is videos and stuff like that. Although, yeah, maybe it'll help, right? But really work on the contents of your portfolio and create a brilliant personal website. Definitely do that. Rupesh says, what do hiring managers look for in a person and a case study? If you had to choose one and think of it, what would the top thing be? Storytelling, product thinking, solving, visual design. The very good thing here, Rupesh, the good news for you is typically companies know that they cannot find a unicorn, somebody who knows everything. 3D motion, visual design, problem solving, great at articulation, great at storytelling, beautiful at making websites, can do interactions, prototyping, right? Like the golden, amazing package. None, that doesn't exist, right? Let's be clear, recruiters do not expect you to have every single thing. They're looking for some strengths that help fit in the current team. So let me give you an example, two examples here. When I say recruiters, number one, I'm not talking about HR. I'm talking about the design managers, product managers, or head of product founders, those people, right? The people you're reporting to. I'm not talking about HR. If a team requires a new person with visual design, right? Imagine this, I have 4 people on my team. I'm the head of design. I know what the gaps in my team are. I know that we are really good at X, but every once in a while when Y comes up, we feel problems, right? So an example of this would be when we were at Unacademy, I knew we were great at visuals, great at problem solving, but we did not have anybody who was great at illustrations. We could do illustrations, but we were not good at it. So we knew that a bonus for the next person we hire would be that they are good at illustration, right? But again, it was a bonus. But in case we decided we need a full-time person, we would then say we want to hire a visual designer. And in that case, all the case studies, we're not going to be looking at are they good or bad. We're going to be saying, do they fit what we're looking for? So that's your answer. People are not looking for somebody who knows everything. They're looking for somebody who knows exactly, who has the skills that fill the gaps that the company has, so the existing team has. Another example of this would be, let's say, like I know this, there are certain teams that I've hired from 10K designers, and they told me this. They said the people we hired, they were not great at visual design. You can imagine how I would have felt, right? I'm like, okay, I guess. But they were like, dude, no, that's not a problem. I don't mean that's a problem. The reason we hired them was they are amazing problem solvers. That our context, it was an e-commerce related company. I won't tell you the full name. They said our context is so complex. We have these coupons, sales tax, shipping, and all this stuff. And our engineers were just getting lost in the details. We don't really believe in product managers. I think that's what it was. And so they said that, fuck, we found designers that had problem solving skill set, who could take the most complex thing and without being spoon fed, break it down into simpler chunks, right? They were like, dude, visual design, we have a design system. We don't need you guys to be crazy at visual design. Just use our design system. But they knew at that point in time that they were looking for somebody who was strong on the problem solving skills, right? So that's how it works. Any design manager at any given time knows this is my current team. These are our strengths. These are our weaknesses. A person that we hire in the future, they should ideally fill in one of our weaknesses to make our overall team strength go up. And it would be good to have sometimes, some extra skills. So an example of this would be something like Webflow or Framer. Most companies don't really have a need for Webflow or Framer, but it's a good to have. And some companies, they would love that. It's a long answer, bro, really long answer. But I hope that was the right answer for you. Hey bro, what's the difference between sitemap and information architecture? Great question, Santosh. Simple answer. Information architecture is the subset. So it's the superset. Sitemap is a part of it. Sitemap is a technique that helps you make your information architecture, but it's not the only technique in the overall field of information architecture. Information architecture is the broader field. A sitemap is a very specific type of diagram that helps you in this information architecture process. Simple answer. Karthik, check out our video, bro. I'm not even going to talk about it, but it's around 7 lakhs per annum. That's typically the early stage. Plus minus 2. Follow-up question from Rupesh sir is, how do you identify for companies that we can leverage our skill apart from JD? I don't have an answer for this, bro. I don't know why I picked your question. But in general, I would say the better option is, rather than changing yourself for the companies, work on the shit you want and then find companies that match what you're looking for, right? Rather than the other way around. In the end, you don't want to make yourself a product for these companies to download, bro. Right? You don't want to lose your individuality in that. So follow your interest, go after the things that are exciting to you, build your profile. Do not take quality lightly. Quality is very important, right? And quantity of work leads to quality of work because it's practice. So do that. Just do that. Don't try to change yourself for a company, right? I do not do that. That's a very weird type of. That's not very productive, right? Do your shit, and then find a company that matches. Don't change yourself for a company. I don't believe in that. Okay, we're an hour in. Let's keep going. How do we filter companies that view designers as assets? Why pata chal jati hai, bro? Rinkesh, what I can tell you is this might sound tougher than it is, but I can tell you this, from the 6 cohorts, once the cohort is done, people typically start working on their case studies, and typically that's when we do a lot of back and forth DMs, right? Like even today, I spoke to about 2 or 3 people from our past cohorts because they are going through the process right now, right? So we do have this kind of job support where I personally help you on DMs, right? But the point I'm trying to make is none of them have this problem, because even if they are interviewing for the first time, second time, red flags are red flags, right? Everybody picks up on the vibe was off, right? It did not feel right. And so trust your gut on that. But in general, have a few people you can talk to about the design process in general, right? The hiring process that you're going through. Because I'll tell you this, one of the most challenging parts about applying for a job is the normal thing to do is actually to just apply to 5, 10, 15, 20 places. But when you tell your parents, I've applied for these, and then you tell them, अच्छा आज update आया इस company में नहीं हुआ, I didn't get into the second company, third company, they get scared. And they pass that fear to you. They're like, oh, कितने rejections हो गए? अरे ये तो नहीं अच्छा है, नहीं 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 अच्छी बात नहीं है, right? Keep that private, bro. You don't need to tell your parents about the rejections. It's a normal part of the process. But have somebody else that you can talk to, right? Somebody who's a designer. If it's the cohort, it's your cohort members, your cohort mentors. It's me, you can DM. But yeah, that's just a general thing I thought I would add about the process. Whoa, Janardhan, 1100 from Janardhan. Love these streams. Thank you, Janardhan. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you in cohort 7. I am actually going to be dropping you an email this week. So yeah, let's talk soon. What's up, Naman? Do you review portfolios? No, Naman, we don't really do them on YouTube, unfortunately, because it takes a lot of time. We do it inside the cohort, but no, I don't think we've done a public YouTube one. Okay, really quick, okay? Just because a lot of you don't know this. I want to ask you right now, and I wish I could do a poll actually, but tell me this. Is this a virtual background or is this real? Please answer in the chat right now. Everybody, I just want to hear from you. Is this a virtual background or is this real? Real quick, and I'm going to reveal it to you. And then I'll pick some more questions before we wrap up. Okay? Jaspreet, got it, bro. I got your question. We'll answer in a bit. Okay, I see a few people say real. It is real, guys. Absolutely real. I've been in meetings where people are like, oh, nice background, bro. And I'm like, no, it's not a background. Something to do with the lighting, I think. I'm also next to a window, so it does look like I have a lot of light with the green thing. No, it's real, bro. It's real. It's not fake. Okay, back to some questions. Back to some questions. How do people who have been working for years at a company but don't have things to show publicly, what do they do? Similar question by Akshay. If you didn't document your project properly. Now, guys, honest moment of vulnerability here. I'm going to be very vulnerable with you guys, okay? I'm going to tell you this here right now. Most of the projects that I worked on, at Unacademy, I did not document them, bro. I did not document them, and I don't even think I took the Figma files when I was leaving. Fuck. Unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But just to let you know, it does happen. It's not that I didn't care to do it, because honestly, I thought I would do the Figma files. I don't know why I didn't do it. And it would be weird reaching out now and asking them, hey, can I get some Figma files? Fuck, bro. Like, it doesn't bother me, okay? But I wish I had it. But I'll tell you what. When I was quitting, I was like, I'm never going to go back to a job again. This is going to be my final startup. Right? 10K designers, whatever I do, it's going to be my finals. I'm never going to go back to a job. And so I just said, fuck it. It doesn't matter. But now I'm like, sure would be nice if I could show you my iterations. Sure would be nice if I could show you all the cool shit we did. So what's the solution? What's the solution? And you know what? I wasn't even into note taking back then. I'm gonna fucking cry on stream, bro. Just kidding. I wasn't even into note taking back then. I didn't take notes. Right? I did, but it was all in the company's, Coda or Notion or whatever we were using. I was not a personal note taking. I do have notes from then, but I wasn't as serious about documentation and notes. But now that I did this, let me answer your question as well. What to do? What to do means it's gone now, bro. Unfortunately, that's how serious this shit is. And let this be a word of warning for all of you who are safely, comfortably in your company right now. Who are like, things are going well. Or in your internship, you're like, things are going well. Yeah, but dude, you know what the crazy part is? I don't even remember half of the stuff I worked on at Unacademy because it's been 3 years. Some of them, it's been 4 years. I don't even remember them, bro. Forget, have them, right? And this only gets trickier the further along you go in your career. The reason I've not heard anybody talk about it is because people who are more senior than me don't really talk about this shit. I don't know why. Or in a lot of cases, you don't even need it, right? You just kind of 1 or 2 projects and it's forward. But if you don't have it, if you don't have your documentation, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. If you have saved your Figma files, however, you can still talk about it, right? But a quick note here, some companies might, your company might have an NDA or something like that, non-disclosure agreement that says, don't publish our work publicly. In that case, typically what most people do is, instead of doing the case study medium route, they just go the slides route. So they make slides and you can password protect slides, right? If I'm not wrong. So what they will typically do is, as they will not have it publicly available, but after you're one step into the process, at that point, you probably share it. Or live on the call, you say, hey, I can't show this publicly or whatever. But to the 2 or 3 people that are here right now, I can walk you through some of the stuff I've done. But guys, please document your shit, man. Like, you might be thinking it's no big deal. It's a big deal. Great idea, Shubhank. In fact, what I would say is people who are doing internships, you're doing an internship, 2 months, 3 months, have some kind of journal, like a private Framer page or even a Tumblr or just a public link where you can just say these are my internship notes. Keep it private, right? But write every week, right? Do a dump. This is what I went through, because all the stuff which was new to you, you're not even going to remember it in the future. It's going to just go like this. Half the shit I don't remember now. Yeah. Hello, me from the future, regretting knocked dog, man. It happens, bro. But you know what the interesting thing is? My freelance projects, some of which are 10 years old now, right? There's no Figma also, because there was no Figma back then. It's all Photoshop files and sketch files. You're not gonna believe this. This is how seriously I care about this shit. Since day one of being a designer, day one, right? So back in, let's say, 2011, 2012, since day one, the day I got my own laptop to be a designer, from that day, every single thing I've done, I have made sure to back it up on the fucking cloud. Google Drive, Dropbox. It's not all centralized, right? It's across multiple places, but it's on the cloud. I don't even trust hard disks, bro, because all my fucking SanDisk motherfucking hard disks, they all ranting, bro. I'm just ranting. Back that shit up on the cloud. Save your stuff, right? Even screenshots. The screenshots, I'm pretty sure all of you guys here right now have a folder on your computer that is just 300 screenshots. Upload that folder on Google Drive, guys. Please do it. Please do it right now, in fact. It's very important. My computer just crashed, in fact, about 2 weeks ago, and I had all the backup because of shit like this. But you'll always miss out on something. That's the thing. Okay, bhai, काफी ranting हो गई. What else? I wanted to take some questions here. Jaspreet, you still here, bro? You said please pick my question. If you're here, I'll pick it, bro. Definitely do this, Mihir. Definitely do this. One thing that is still new and most people have not done is just using ChatGPT for small stuff. So, for example, you know now that anywhere in your website, if you ever need to summarize large amounts of data, you can just pass it as a prompt, ChatGPT API, and get it back saying this is the summary, right? That's just a simple example of few things in your app where you just hit the API endpoint and get some results back, right? So wherever possible, do give it a shot. The only note here is this is a big cost concern, because if a company really is using this, and if they're using GPT APIs, OpenAI APIs, it's going to cost you a lot, right? So I don't think onboarding is the best place, because every single user that hits your onboarding, that's credits, OpenAI credits, and it can run into thousands of dollars a month, right? If you're not careful. But the good news is it's still so early. I'm sure there's going to be multiple solutions. Pretty sure by the end of this year, every single app will have these small, let's just say, simple API calls to their own large language models, right? Then probably not going to be using OpenAI APIs in the future. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah. Okay, Jaspreet, you're here, bro. Let's answer your question. I've completed my bachelor's degree, 2 years of experience, graphic design. That's great. Started learning last year. Okay. I haven't done any internship. Can I get a full-time position? Definitely. Internship, not necessary for a full-time position. But the reason internships are good is because it's low risk. Low risk for you, कि ज़्यादा सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं. Even if it goes bad, it's okay. They paid me to do one case study in my portfolio, right? And low risk for the company, because they're like, we don't have to go through that awkward thing of firing someone if he made a wrong call, right? It's just a 1 month. 1 month internships are rare, very rare, but 3 months, it's just a 3-month internship. So big advantages to internships. I would definitely suggest doing that. But can you get a full-time job without doing an internship? No problem. No problem. It actually is all dependent on portfolio, right? The portfolio that you mentioned, that is pretty much what's going to make it or break it. So I would say at this point, be open to both, right? In fact, I would say be open to internship, freelance, as well as full time, because any project that you do should become a case study that increases the chances of your next project, right? That's how you set up a slope. That's how you set up a winning slope for yourself. Each project makes it easier to do the next project in terms of skills, but also in terms of your proof of work. That's your competence. Somebody sees this and they're like, if this person has done this, they can probably do this, right? Keep doing that. That's a small slope up, right? I know when I was in college, I was like, हाँ भाई किसी दिन Google पे काम करेंगे. But realistically, the way to work at Google is just get so good such that Google just wants to hire you within 4 years, 5 years, right? That's so much easier. So anyways, leverage your way up. Definitely possible. Shriniket says, I'm currently designing a portfolio. I feel like writing a case study is tougher than designing the app. Is this worth the time? Do hiring managers look for all the details? So my suggestion to you would be skip the case study and start with slides. Make a deck, make a slide deck of your project that uses mostly visuals, right? So text, don't have a lot of text and shit in your slides. A slide deck of your project that uses mostly visuals to show the work you did, the details about the work, timeline, the process you went through roughly, what are the decisions you took, any interesting details, screenshots of your work. More than 50% of the slide deck should just be your actual work, right? Your final work, showing it. You want to show mock-ups, show mock-ups. You want to show zoom-ins, show zoom-ins. You want to show iterations like this, do that. If you think a case study is too hard, skip the case study, bro. Just make slides. And the reason I tell you this is because you can today, that slides, that's actually the hard part. But once you have those slides, you can pretty much just use those slides as a direct Behance case study, right? So it's not a medium case study, but it's still a Behance case study, right? Put all those slides there. That's it. Or another thing you can do is ChatGPT is now really good at writing case studies. It'll be very generic though, so you have to give it some details. But if you are roughly able to figure out the outline through the slide deck that you do, ChatGPT will write the rest for you, right? And all you have to then do is just put it together in a nice way, work on the packaging. But do that. Hiring managers typically just want you to do a walkthrough. A case study is useful when you're not there, they can read it by themselves. Case study is useful because in an interview, you can walk through and actually go through it. But then you can do the same thing with slides, right? So just do slides. The disadvantage, however, is slides typically are published as Behance case studies, right? You can't really publish it in the same way as an article. And articles allow you to go into depth. That's the thing. Aditya, F in the chat for Aditya, guys. I did my first internship, but the startup is not allowing me to use the work. Aditya, पूछा है क्यों, bro? Why did you ask them? Here's the thing. Let me tell you this, Aditya. Most startups are in survival mode. So you tell them, दिखा दो. They are going to be more like, oh, अगर कुछ गलत हो गया, मैं बताना नहीं चाहते, right? But no startup is going to say no to free publicity. So if you publish a case study, what is a case study? Especially an internship case study. An internship case study is all about showing off how fucking cool the startup is, isn't it? You're talking about your process. You're talking about ye humne launch kiya, right? You're saying my engineers were so good, my founder was so good. It's free publicity, right? So most founders, let me tell you this, most founders don't even know what a case study is. They just think it's a essay. They think it's a blog post, right? They don't even think of in the word case study. And founders, nobody says no to free publicity. So your first problem This is my guess, of course. You shouldn't have asked them in the first place. But I would say go even one step further. In Silicon Valley, there's this phrase which says, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. What I mean by that is go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it, right? If you think you're scared or something, bro, change the logo, right? If you think there is something confidential, don't show the confidential part, but just publish it, right? The founder will see this. It's going to get likes, retweets, whatever. कुछ नहीं होगा bro. And ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या कर देंगे? They'll say मत डालो, right? So you unpublish it. It's not public. The link is available, right? Anybody with the link can view, but it's not publicly visible. So then what you can do is you can include it in your cold DMs, whatever. You don't have to make it public, but just the right people make it public for them. Should have asked, bro. Should have asked. Not at all. Coding Sprint from Afghanistan. What's up? What's up? Good to see you here. Glad you've joined our stream. What sort of approach we should have towards ChatGPT? I would definitely say use ChatGPT as a tutor, right? So ask questions. If you're doing JavaScript, definitely use it for debugging. Any issue you have, I'm sure you're probably already putting it either in Copilot or ChatGPT. Use it as a debugger, use it as a creative partner who you can ask questions to. In some cases, you might also be able to use it as a manager in the sense that anything that you think is too technical, you're not sure, you want a step-by-step explanation, ChatGPT is perfect for that. Or let's say you come across a tutorial online and it's too difficult for you to follow, right? It happens sometimes. You can sometimes, I think only with Plus, ChatGPT Plus, with browsing on, you can say, can you take this tutorial and give me a step-by-step because I don't understand it, right? Use it for things like that. Creative partner. That's the vibe. Excited for C7. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What's up, Ashish? What's up, Ashish? Ashish, we need a guest session from you, bro. On cohort. I'm going to be reaching out to you for that, by the way. But yes. Guys, I can't answer all questions. So let's wrap up. Let's wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes. I don't know why I didn't do the stream last week. I didn't feel like it, but it's just talking. It's just Q&A. Abhinav says, I'm currently third year, NIT, BTech. Should I prepare for my master's from NIT or IITs? Is it worth? Should I look for internships and jobs? Abhinav, I would suggest, see, the main thing you want to do, firstly, I would say do both, right? An internship, बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है, right? You can still do it. And then after that, you can decide if needed. But I can tell you this. Let's think of it as a game, right? And I'm doing this so I can take an example with you. If you're in a game and there is an item that increases your stats, but it takes you 2 years to grind and get the item. The item I'm talking about is the degree, right? Of course, you're going to have fun on the process, right? It'll be a great process for you, right? Going to one of these colleges, man, staying on the NIT and IIT campus, beautiful, bro. These campuses are beautiful, right? I've been to a bunch of IIT campuses, sometimes just like that to cycle through, sometimes because of some guest sessions or something that we did. They're beautiful. So you will enjoy the time for sure. But will it significantly improve your chances of getting an amazing internship? No. Are there going to be companies that come to your campus that don't hire from the internet? No. Not a single founder I know has ever gone to a design campus to hire. Think about how crazy that is, but how normal it is, right? So I would say it's a good experience. For the experience, if you get it, go ahead. You're going to have a lovely time, bro. IIT campuses, to be honest, it's more fun to live on campus than it is in a lot of Indian cities, bro. Just how clean, peaceful, green, beautiful they are, right? I've not been to the IIT Madras campus, but you get what I mean. But will it really help you if your goal is to get a really good job? No. It would be much better if you just work on your portfolio. Yeah. Yo, super chat from Akash. Thank you for the super chat, Akash. Ooh, I can see this in your profile pic. Your question is you have a graphic design experience of 4 to 5 years. Will it add up any benefit in terms of opportunity in monetary terms? Yes. Yes, Akash. Yes. Very useful, right? Now, assuming you're not a shit graphic designer, right? Because I know there are some, again, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but I know there are some graphic designers out there whose job is basically factory work. They just have to make 30 ads in all these banner sizes every single day, every single week, right? And so if you're that type of graphic designer, I don't think so. I don't think so. But if you have graphic design skills, right? You have really good graphic design skills. That pretty much translates almost 1:1 to visual design skills. If you're good at graphic design, the visuals of your work probably are going to be great, right? Because you know the core graphic design fundamentals like visual, like balance, hierarchy, proportion, white space. You understand the core principles. And so definitely almost 1:1, you can apply that directly to your UI. In terms of monetary terms, good question. I would say if you're, see, let me give you a real example. I know some folks from cohort 2, cohort 3, older cohorts who come from a graphic design background. But when they apply for a job, they use a Notion folio. They use Notion for their portfolio, right? So from a hiring manager perspective, looking at somebody who has a couple months of experience in design versus looking at somebody who has 4 years of graphic design experience and couple months of, let's say, UI UX design. As a hiring manager, if you guys are both using Notion, you're going to look equal to me, right? So graphic design 4 years, if you cannot show something, it's worth 0 years, bro. Of course, in terms of process, the people you worked with, the projects you worked on, you would have learned a lot. But if you really have that experience, bro, it should be visible. Dekh ke pata chala. Like when I look at your portfolio, it should feel like you are a UI UX designer with 4 years of experience, right? If you do a good job at translating your graphic design skills to UI UX design. The part where it will not help you though is the pure UX part of it. The process for designing a website is not the same as a process for designing a poster. You know the most fucked up part about the words we use? We call them pages. An app, 7 pages, right? Page pade hue hain. Of course, designers, you and I know, we don't always call them pages. We call them frames or artboards. But pages, bro, website page, web page. The problem with that is it makes you think it's a page like a graphic design page. But the process, the whole concept, the whole medium is so different. They're not pages at all. They're like way apart, right? So the exact experience that you have, I don't know. That's still something you have to learn. The product design process, right? The software life cycle, where you have to take needs, figure out, synthesize, do research, take all this, figure out what's the right problem to be solved. Once you know the right problem to be solved, you need to solve the problem right? And so that's your process. And after that, you need to work with developers. You need to make sure things are tight. You need to do bug testing, reports. This is not the same as anything you would have done in graphic design, right? Outside of this, UX, understanding user experience, also very difficult, right? Not difficult, doable, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same. So it's both. You have huge advantages because you are already a designer. You're already used to making stuff. You're already used to working with clients, but you do not know how software is made. And this is a big thing, by the way. We've At Unacademy, we've rejected a lot of people who came from purely a graphic design background, who were good at visuals also, in fact, because they did not think in terms of software. They did not think in terms of software. Thinking in terms of software is a big deal. It's not graphic design. It's not graphic design. Okay. What else, guys? We're gonna wrap up right now. Wrap up a bit. Harshit, great to see that, bro. I'm glad to hear. See you in the cohort. Visuals problem solving, super important. Both are very important. Is it still worth it? Still worth it. Go to IIT. For sure, go to NID. The problem, guys, they have like 10 seats or 20 seats a year. So I don't even know. I don't even know if you will get in, just given how competitive it is. But if you do, go for it. It's nice living on campus. And anyway, all this freelance working on portfolio, you can do it while you're on campus. No big deal. And campus life is fun, bro. I love campus life. So great to hear that, Mohan. How long does it take? I would say at least a year. If today you're starting, at least a year, bro. But you're at the right place. You're absolutely at the right place. All right, guys, we're about an hour and a half in. Figma config, expecting a lot of AI updates. I really hope we have AI updates. Outside of that, I think, if I'm not wrong, this is the first Figma config after the acquisition, right? So there are there's a lot of expectations on the company, on the team. So it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. In fact, they've already released their first huge set of updates, right? I think a few weeks back after the acquisition, they did a huge, I think 60 updates or 30 updates or something like that. I expect Figma config to be even bigger. And the fact that it's now it's in the Adobe suite, I don't know what that means, dude. Like, what if the product now actually is developing at a 2x, 3x, 4x faster rate just purely because of resources? And guys, Adobe, I hate Adobe. You and I, we know Adobe is scammy, right? We know they make you sign you try to buy Creative Cloud, they'll say, it's 1 month, but you buy it and they're like, no, it's 1 year. You're trapped. You can't cancel it. You try going to their customer support, doesn't work. You try Googling it. In the US, they're not allowed to pull that shady shit, so they have to put a cancel button by law. In India, there's no cancel button in the Adobe, right? So we know they're shady. But the one thing they do know is they've been making image manipulation tools, right? Photoshop and these tools longer than anybody else. Photoshop has been around how many years now? 20 to 25 years, I think. Photoshop as a tool has been around for 25 years. So I'm pretty sure Adobe knows what they're doing. I don't like them as a company. I don't like that Figma, one of the best tools of design, Figma, is now owned by Adobe. But okay, bro, what can we do? I also don't like that they don't ship Figma merch to India, bro. I'm pretty sure India is one of their top countries, right, in terms of usage. Let's see. I'm going to do some live research in front of you guys right now. Let's go to figma.com. Oh, no. I wanted to go to Figma's website, not my Figma. Let's open a sub page. And now let's see SimilarWeb. SimilarWeb pay Figma from India, how much traffic they get. Let's check it out. Pretty sure Figma India is one of the biggest customer base for Figma. I don't know why it's not loading. Why don't they ship merch to India? Figma merch. I don't get it. Okay. India is number 2, bro. Think about that. Number 2. Number 2 on the leaderboard for users, right? Most. Okay. Anyways, guys, I made my point. June 21st, 22nd, we will check it out. We will check it out. Thanks a lot, gang. This was fun. This was really fun. We do have a bunch of stuff we are working on, and I will show you that. Most of you, I will show you that inside the cohort. But for everybody else, we're going to be, of course, posting some of this stuff on Twitter. All of this, it's not all private projects. A lot of these are public projects. We have certain high-level redesigns going on at the moment. That's all I'll say for now. We have a lot of high-level content stuff going on at the moment. That's all I'll say for now. We also have a lot of high-level physical merch and objects stuff work going on at the moment. That's all I'll say for now. But thanks, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been a fun stream. And remember, you can always DM me on Instagram. I'm not the quickest to respond, but Instagram and Discord, in fact, even Twitter now, Instagram, Discord, and Twitter, all three of them have voice notes now. So even if you have a complex question, if I can, I'll just do a voice note and give you a quick answer. And yeah, see you soon. Bye-bye.